welcome back to the Pole Dancing Sensuality series with Rad Kitty. On today's episode, I want to share with you some lessons that I've learned on taking beginner classes as a more advanced trick student, because throughout the decade that I've been pole dancing, I just wanted to get to the most difficult tricks in the book. And I accomplished all that, which is great. My ego was on cloud 9, and I didn't think I needed to do that because I could handspring and shit, which is pretty fucking awesome. But for the longest time, I avoided taking sensual classes because of the fear of other people feeling threatened, and I let that overtake me. And I would maybe take one choreo class every 2 months, so that's 6 classes a year. And I would just be cowering in the back, just really scared. And most of the time, I didn't even record it because I didn't want my parents or the guy I was dating at the time to see it. And that was a huge sign for me that I needed to change something. And eventually, because of that, my body burnt out, and I kept having to take week-long breaks after week because my body could no longer handle the load of taking multiple tricks classes plus a heavy workload, being an overachiever and all that. And over the last few years, as I've gone through autoimmune disease diagnosis and just multiple rounds of burnout and not wanting to have to continue to be taking breaks and actually have dreams like perform in a professional setting happen, I had to find a happy medium so I didn't have to keep taking time off and putting my dreams on the back burner. And a way for me to do that is working on foundations like hands, feet, head, and eyes, and moves that were basic enough for my body to be able to handle the load and continue being able to work and survive, obviously. And one reason why I really wanted to work on my sensuality is because whenever I would audition for shows, it felt really inauthentic because I was afraid to express certain parts of myself that I felt insecure about. Like, actually, the sensual side was what I was afraid of, which is what the shows are about. And learning to find a safe place to own my expression is how I've been able to move forward from burnout and eventually be able to get back to doing tricks again and being able to combine that with the sensual movements to create my own style of dancing, so it doesn't feel so imposter syndrome-y every time I go to send an audition tape. And when I get rejected, I end up taking that personally, and I spend days, months, weeks, years thinking about it, and that pretty much got me nowhere in actually getting into shows. And for the first time, now that I live alone, I've been able to safely explore that sensual side without any of the people around that I felt like were judging me. I removed them out of my life for the most part and keep minimal contact with those people so I can feel safe enough to feel good in my body and really own every movement that I'm doing. And it really helps living alone and having a pole in my living room, and that has really helped tremendously because then I don't have the fear of everybody looking at me at the studio either, which I've been able to get over that hurdle because I have been practicing at home, and I've learned to not take things personally as much. I'm still working on that. And going to other studios around the Tampa Bay area and getting to know all of the women and their humans helps me feel safe taking classes at different studios and learning from other instructors, their styles, so I can grow upon it and expand it into the tricks that I like to do, because flow is something that I've always struggled with, and I don't have any dance background whatsoever. Pole dancing is the first dance anything that I've ever done. So learning to find my style is such an accomplishment in itself, and I want to continue to help other people do that as well, and allowing myself to express that form of sensuality allows me to tell stories through my movement and actually share emotions, so it's not as one-noted, which is feedback I've received from judges in competitions multiple times, as well as needing to improve my flow. So I put my ego aside and took classes at studios that didn't have any tricks and inverts in them. So then it helps me stay grounded and focusing on each movement. And what I want to leave you with is learning to communicate on the pole has helped me be able to communicate off the pole and start having difficult conversations with people that, I've been avoiding for a long time. And it really helps with eye contact and being present in the moment, so you can really engage with the audience and then they understand your story so it doesn't get lost in translation somewhere. So I really hope that if you have heard any opposition in your body, definitely take a step back and use that time to